Good evening, and thank you for joining me. I'm Joe Carbonetta, and this is Arroyo Live. Produced by and through the facilities of Pasadena Media, the purpose of this program is to help enrich our community through informative and meaningful conversation. The program is live if you are watching on Tuesday, December 22nd, and you can share your questions or comments with us anytime at arroyolive@pasadenamedia.org. This evening, we talk to some local business owners to learn more about how COVID-19 is affecting them and our economy across the country. I'm joined by Miss Eva Zolotova, a personal trainer and nutritionist, Mr. Tony Kwong, owner of Amblush Beauty, and Miss Erica Kensington, owner of Sugar and Spice LA. Mr. Charles Walker, owner of Just in Time Hair Trends, may be joining us later. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here. If each of you would please take a moment to tell our viewers at home a little more about yourselves. Tony, I'd like to begin with you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tony, and I'm the owner of Amblush Beauty, which is a hair, nails, salon with we kind of like a all-in-one shop with, personal care. So we're located on 62 North Raymond Avenue in Old Town, Pasadena. Yeah. So.
All right, thank you. Eva, can we have you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, please?
Yes, absolutely. My name is Eva Zolotova. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist. Fitness is my passion. I'm a former professional athlete. I used to run 800 meters and 1500 meters, and I found my passion in helping people to be stronger, happier, and healthier. I used to be I am a producer at Pasadena Media, and I used to have my show, What the Health Are You Talking About? And thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Appreciate you being here as well. And Erica, would you please take a moment to tell everyone about yourself?
Sure. I'm the owner of Sugar and Spice Spa LA. This is my third location in Pasadena. We are a team of 23 women from Paul Mitchell in Pasadena, design team. We started together 5 years ago, and upon leaving, couldn't imagine us not being together anymore. So we are 23 strong now. Our spa is sustainable, organic, and we have a lifestyle partnership with Jurlique out of Australia.
Okay,
we're located we just relocated to a mixed-use space in downtown Pasadena. Trying to get ahead of the safe-at-home order.
All right. Well, again, it's wonderful to have all three of you here this evening. We do thank you so much for joining us. And as this is the show that comes right before the Christmas holiday, I would like to wish happy holidays to each of you and to our viewers at home. As we noted at the top of the show, each of you is a business owner, and obviously this pandemic has created havoc for businesses, not only locally here or even across the region, but across the country and probably globally. What I'd like to start out by asking each of you is to talk a little bit about your experience since the pandemic has begun and what you have gone through with the various starts and stops. There was an early lockdown, then restrictions were loosened, and as time has gone by, the pandemic has apparently gotten a great deal worse, and now we're seeing those restrictions coming back into play, and probably at one of the worst times for most businesses because the holidays are traditionally among the busiest. So if each of you would take a turn speaking about that, we'd certainly appreciate it. And again, Tony, I hate to put you on the spot, but since you're at the top of my screen, I'm going to call on you first.
Oh yeah, with our business, mainly the nail business and the hair and the makeup is like we always been sanitized even before pandemic start. Like we follow protocol and everything. So once the with the new health order and everything, we follow everything and we go by one-on-one personally. Each client is one-on-one with our members or nail tech or hairdresser. So it's like, I don't know why, we should be, consider part of the lockdown because, like we take every precautions there is, and then you look at other big department stores. It's like everybody just go in same time and everything. But mainly for us, it's just like one-on-one personally, and then that's it. Then we call the next client. They wait in the car. We call them in, sanitize, temperature check. We wear masks. We wear face shield. We have table glass that's like protective that separate us. So I think our field is pretty safe considering getting the service done and everything. So that's what my personal thought.
I guess we'll change things up a bit this time. And Erica, I'm going to ask you to speak on this next.
Okay. Well, how has the pandemic affected my business personally and the changes that we've had to make? So we have been closed by the government 4 times. And unfortunately, the comment that Gavin Newsom made in May saying that this started in a nail salon in California, a majority of my team is Asian. And they do nails and they do hair, like most cosmetologists. Try to utilize as many services as you learn in the field so you can stay on trend. And we have not really made a comeback from just that in itself. That has created a whole nother layer of what we've had to deal with. So it's taken us probably 4 or 5 months to gain the trust of our clients, really, the older clients especially. And I feel like we're just now getting back to it. And then 3 weeks later, we got shut down again.
Yep.
So I actually relocated to a mixed-use building because between renting a station and paying rent, none of us are really making it. So we're all cohabitating, and we're all living in an apartment together now. We're all working in the same space in Southern California, and I had a home in Calistoga. So I'm splitting my time and doing my best to keep everybody together.
Admittedly, I saved you for last on this because as a personal trainer, I would suspect that you don't actually have a brick and mortar location that you have to maintain. And so your perspective might be a little different, but I would like to hear how it's affected you as well.
During the first lockdown, 70% of my clients stopped training, but 30% still wanted to stay healthy and strong. I did online training, and also I went to people's houses or homes or apartments. They were, for those who were open to that, I did special program using small space. That's why it was a little bit easier. When park became open, 70% of my clientele come back, but still 30% of people who traveled or who have babies, they didn't want to take a chance, and I still only had 70% of my clientele. And like compared to other businesses, I'm more flexible. And actually in November, it was my busiest month. People so tired of all these lockdowns, pandemics, and they sit at home and they just eat or feel depressed or anxious. And actually November was my busiest month ever.
But I would assume that is now changed again as the
right now, absolutely. But I'm so happy that parks are open and I can train people outside. We don't violate any rules. That's why it's a little bit easier. But still, December, it's very slow month in personal training in general. And again, not as many people work out, people travel. And again, this is the second lockdown. Yes, I think now I have around 30-35% of my clients.
So it would be fair to say at this point that each of you has seen a dramatic decrease in revenues across this year thanks to the pandemic. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
All right, Tony, something that you touched upon as you were speaking a little earlier, and I'd like to come back and revisit. You mentioned I should say you compared the way your business operates in the face of larger corporations.
Yes.
Do each of you feel that the smaller businesses and the smaller business people are being singled out and targeted in the wake of this pandemic? Because as you noted, the larger businesses seem to enjoy the status of being somewhat protected, considered essential, while many of these smaller businesses are told that they have to shut down. I'm wondering if each of you could speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, I feel like, like for small business, it's always going to be a smaller group of people coming in and out, but when you go with like big corporation, there's always more people coming in and out. So that's where, people think, like, it's not safe to be around that much people. But for small business, it's always been like, community wise. So it just, like a certain amount of people in at the same time, a certain amount of people out at the same time, I think it's a lower risk compared to, all the big department that people are going through.
All right, Ava, Erica, if you care to discuss this as well. I mean, do you feel that you've been treated unfairly in that the larger businesses seem to get to remain open?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I'm in a house divided, or I was. My partner works in construction and pools, and every day I wasn't allowed to go to work while he's allowed to go to work and be around up to 40 people on a job site. That doesn't make sense to me when I have a license which states that I was taught how to prevent infection from happening in a workspace. I was trained for that. I'm actually an esthetician, so that makes me pre-dermatology. If we want to get really technical, pre-med, even more. First year nursing student. So yeah, I have a problem with all of it. I have a problem with the fact that filming is available and open and crews are eating under tents right across the street.
Well, it looks like we might have encountered a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, as the pandemic continues on, we are obviously all still staying at home, safer at home. And we continue to do all of our programming over the internet. And unfortunately, we're subject to the whims of the internet. So it looks like we have temporarily lost Erica, and hopefully we'll be able to get her reconnected. Oh, there, Erica, you just came back. We lost you. Unfortunately, we didn't hear most of what you had to say.
Oh, that's okay. I said, I certainly feel like it's unfair. I live in the Napa Valley, and what everyone's talking about is how Gavin Newsom dined at the French Laundry with 22 plus people. The wine country is suffering because of fires, the pandemic, now the shutdown again. So people have literally lost their homes and their place to work, all in a matter of a year, sometimes twice, now maybe 3 times. It's incredible how strong people are and resilient, but when construction workers can go to work, and I've gone to school to learn how not to get people sick, I don't feel like it's fair for one person to be considered essential and one person not to be considered essential. And I don't think we should ever use that word.
All right. Erica, I know you mentioned that you have more than one location. Tony, I'm not quite certain whether yours is a single location or if you have additional stores as well.
Or it's a single location.
A single location, okay.
Yeah.
But I was wondering what, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about how this is affected if, in fact, you have a staff as well, how your employees are dealing with this. Erica, I'm certain with multiple locations, you must have some staff members as well. And how are you dealing with this situation with regards to your employees?
We've consolidated all 3 locations into one. None of the estheticians are able to work, so all of the estheticians are working from home, and we're using a drop ship program directly from our supplier to our clients' houses. They're using at-home protocols and maintaining a relationship with their esthetician. The rest of the ladies have stuck it out as long as they can. The ones who have split their time between our location and work for a corporation have now been able to go back to work, but with this last shutdown, 2 of them have been told that their company is not going to go, it will not reopen. We lost all of our accounts at Universal Studios, and so we won't be working on set anymore.
But for the most part, you have been able to maintain most of your staff throughout this pandemic?
I've stayed in touch with all of them. Yeah, I've done my best.
They're not all.
Honestly, I've spent most of my time coaching them on how to get benefits, the grants, anything that we're eligible for, and just keeping them,
So in a strange twist, you've actually been put in the position of doing all of the things EDD should be doing, but doesn't seem to be capable of.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. And Tony, how about for you? Are you able to maintain your staff throughout all this, or have you also had to let people go?
Well, for me personally, I didn't let them go, but people have families that need to feed, so they pretty much go on their own. But I still keep in touch with them, so like if later on when our business get better, I can give them a call, and if they're willing to come back, then vice versa, But yeah, we our salon been open for only a year, so we were open for like 6 months, and then the pandemic hit. So we were right at the standpoint where it's just like we're trying to pick up everything, and then everything just come crashing down, So we really just right now we trying to hang by the thread, but we'll see how's it go right now.
The next question I'd like to pose to the 3 of you is again, going back to the discussion of how larger businesses seem to be allowed to remain open while many of these smaller businesses are forced to close during the pandemic. Have you heard any feedback from the community in terms of their feelings on this? Are they supportive of you being allowed to reopen during the pandemic? Eva, I'm imagining that you would have a lot to say on this as well, because you did say that you had a busy month in November before the latest stay-at-home lockdown.
Yes, but I would like to add that I think the rules in California compared to other states are stricter. And I feel so bad for Erica and Tony as a customer too, not only as a small business owner, as a customer too, and I think it's unfair. Of course, we do need essential businesses. Of course, we do need drugstores or grocery stores would be open, but also I don't see any harm from small businesses like beauty salons or gyms would be open too. And what my people say, everybody is tired, like really everybody is tired, and someone it's 50-50. Someone followed the rule 100%. Okay, we cannot gather together for like 3 people, 4 people, we are going to follow it. And someone like, I'm not going to divide my family. I'm not going to put some people in this house, some people in this house. We are not going to do that. That's why it's 50-50.
Okay. Well, Tony, you look like you wanted to contribute to this.
Well, yeah, most of our clients, even though we're not essential, but they consider us to be essential. So every day when we're on lockdown, we keep getting phone call, and it's like, when are you guys going to open? Are you willing to do at my house or whatever? But like I said, I'm not willing to risk losing my license to do something for it's not legal. So I'd rather stay close until everything is go away, or trying to hang on to my business. That's it.
Again, as I noted earlier, Tony, you and Erica, you're both in the personal care industry, both of you operating salons. during the summer months, there was some relaxation of some of the requirements in terms of the social distancing, and many such businesses were allowed to operate outside. But that, of course, required a substantial investment on the part of business owners to basically rebuild their shops outdoors. Did any of you partake in that operation? And I'm wondering if you can speak on the costs and the tolls in having to do that, only to be told you had to shut down again anyway.
Well, when we were allowed to do outside, we did set up a couple of stations outside. But the thing is, like with Pasadena, when you set outside on the sidewalk, you need to get a permit from the city hall. So it's like within the city hall, then you need your liability for your insurance to cover that area too. So that's a big all the change you have to do. And then on top of that, most of our product, when you're outside in the heat, is it gets dried up really fast, and then it won't be like like up to par. Consider you go inside, because it was not made for working outside. So that's some of the stuff that we have to go through.
Erica, do you have some experiences you'd like to share with regard to having to set up outside?
We opted not to set up outside because we were next to Stony Point Restaurant, which is one of the oldest Italian restaurants in Pasadena. And if we were to set up outside, we would clearly be disrupting their business with hair blowing in their clients' food. That would be really weird. And I did notice some salons that set up outside when I drove down Green Street a few times. And I couldn't believe that people took the chance of standing mirrors up against buildings that were like 5 feet tall. That seemed extremely dangerous to me. So we decided not to do any of it.
Well, but that is also an interesting point. As a professional courtesy to the businesses around you, you opted to remain closed, which actually caused you to incur further financial losses because your business was basically not operating.
Correct.
That's a very kind and generous gesture, but one I'm certain that must be costly in the long run. So those are probably some more of the unseen side effects of this. Many people at home will be aware of the fact that businesses remain closed, lose money, but probably are not aware that some businesses have chosen to remain closed out of professional courtesy to the businesses surrounding them. Another question that was interesting to me, and Eva, I'd like to direct this one to you first, but I would like everybody to take an opportunity to chime in on this, is how concerned are each of you in continuing to remain open in whatever ways that you're allowed to under the regulations? How much of a concern do you have that you are putting yourselves in harm's way and potentially coming in contact with what has been, for several people, a deadly pandemic? As a personal trainer, Eva, you probably are the most up close and personal with your clients. Do you have concerns about contracting the virus?
To be honest, not at all. Not at all. I have very peculiar attitude to coronavirus, and I don't see myself getting the virus. I just reject it. I just know it's not in my presence. I really am not anxious. I'm not worried at all. And I deal with people, and I go outside, but I'm telling you, maybe it sounds strange, but I have zero concern about being exposed to coronavirus. And I take my tests all the time, like a few times, maybe once in 2 weeks, because I have a client who is very concerned about coronavirus, and I do this for her, and I'm negative all the time.
Erica, Tony, same question to each of you in turn.
Well, for us, like we wear gloves, we wear face shield, we wear masks. So even though we hands-on with other client, when they first come into salon, we sanitize the hand, we check the temperature, and then we tell them to go wash the hand with soap. And then before every service, we start it. And then after that, we, tell them to wash the hand afterward too. And then we just, take off a glove and throw it away. And our equipment, we just one-time use. So buffer, nail file, and pusher, after every client, we throw them away. So I think it's really safe for us, because we don't really have anything really hands-on with the skin touching other people, So I think it's pretty safe for us.
And Erica, how about yourself?
For us, the same. Everyone who works within the salon wears gloves, a face shield, and a face mask. We've actually always done that as estheticians and lash artists. So I feel very safe. We also get tested every 2 weeks, and we're on a staggered tier testing program. So within a day or two, all of us know our results. So I'm negative. Today I was tested at 11:40 a.m. All of my results tomorrow morning via email.
Well, Erica, you mentioned, and I think I saw you nodding on this, Tony, that as a matter of standard operating practices, you generally are wearing PPE all the time, even before the pandemic. So you don't find having these requirements now any more restrictive? They don't interfere with your ability to complete your work?
No, like we always been, sanitized because, State Board, every year they come down and check us. Sales department come down and check before we open. So it's like, they do it like routinely every year. So we have to follow protocol every year. Every year they update protocol, we have to follow through with it. So I think we generally pretty safe in order for us to work.
Safer than a restaurant, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the last day, we have heard that another relief package is close to finally being on its way. But I'm wondering what kind of assistance any of you have been able to receive since being told to shut down repeatedly by authorities over the course of this year. Has there been any help for you as small business owners?
For me, yes, but to a point, no, because for one, my salon is a new business. So, when you don't have enough revenue, when you try to apply for the loans or the forgiveness, they don't give you much, so because we have no income to prove it to them. So in a way, they gave us a little bit, but not enough to help us sustain our business.
All right. Erica, how about for you and your businesses? Were you able to receive any kind of assistance, either federally, regionally, locally, anything?
No, I actually did not get anything. And I tried very diligently. I kept a very extensive journal of all of the grants and loans that I applied for. 158, I stopped counting.
Wow.
And out of 158 grants and loans I applied for, I got a bicycle, $600 from PBA, the Professional Beauty Association, and I got a $2,000 grant to help me with my rent.
That almost seems that you were able to receive more assistance on the personal side of things than on the professional side. I have to admit that I had to raise an eyebrow when you said you received a bicycle. I'm wondering how that was supposed to benefit you or your business in any way.
I don't know.
Eva, again, you are in a slightly different position as a personal trainer. I would imagine that places you in more of an independent contract or freelance position, and that probably presents its own unique set of challenges when attempting to apply for any type of assistance. I'm wondering how you have fared in this downturn in the economy.
Surprisingly, a few days ago, I've got approved for SBA loan. And it's a small amount, like 17 or something like this. But I'm so appreciative. Uh, yeah, that's what I got from the government, and again, I'm happy for anything that can help.
Certainly can understand that. Eva, you seem to be our sole success story during the pandemic. You mentioned that you had a banner month in November, and then you actually were able to get some type of assistance from the government. That's interesting. The difference in the way businesses are being treated. And again, I do have to wonder for each of you. Do you think that the assistance, what little of it seems to have come down, is being offered in a fair fashion? I'm wondering what the criteria have been. Tony, you mentioned that as a relatively new business without a long history of revenue generation, that any assistance you might have been eligible for was very small. Erica, as a business with a longer track record and multiple locations, even still, with 158 attempts, you didn't seem to receive much of anything. So how do you feel about the way this has been handled?
Oh, oh my gosh. Well, I believe my mistake was that I believed my business banker, in which they told me that I should only be applying with them. And then later I got the advice of a financial advisor who told me I should have been trying my hand, throwing out the biggest net possible. And from what I know, most businesses that have relationships with large banks are the ones who got funded. So me personally, the people I know that got money from like Chase Bank or B of A, and they're all in construction, which is really weird. Construction is not having a problem, but they all got loans.
So would it be safe to say then that your issues with the way the financial assistance has been handled actually aren't at the federal level, but rather with the major banks themselves and how they do business? Oh, we may have lost Erica again. It looks like she might have frozen. Well, we'll come back to her then. Hopefully we'll get her unfrozen shortly. Tony, same question to you though. How do you feel about the way this has been handled? Do you think you've been treated fairly?
I mean, like, I can't really say, because I got some SBA loans, so what Erica said was true, like some big corporate bank, they kind of like done it better than any, small bank or small community bank, because I think they got more funding from, from the state.
Okay. Erica, I see you're back now at the moment. And unfortunately, before we had the misfortune of having you freeze up on us again, I was wondering if you feel that the problems with the way the financial assistance is being delivered isn't really a federal government problem or even a local government problem, but rather the banks themselves. Is that really the issue?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They went for they didn't really reach for the small businesses. I mean, this money was designed to help the people who are keeping people in.
Uh-oh. I'm afraid we've lost Erica again for a moment. Okay, well, Erica, thank you for at least trying to answer that question, and we're going to move on, and hopefully you'll be able to rejoin us again shortly. The next question that I'd like to pose to all of you is that in the face of these repeated openings and closings and the limited operations, have you had to reinvent your business or the way you do business? And if so, how? And Tony, I'm going to go with you at the top there because, well, you were not frozen. So,
well, for our field, there's really not much to reinvent because mostly it's hands-on, So all we can do is, just follow protocol, and if they allow us to open, then we open operating. So I don't think we can do anything else besides, like just follow protocol, I guess.
Okay. Eva, how about you? Have you had to adjust your business model?
Yes, a little bit, because before I've never ever taught online, and with coronavirus, I had to sit down at the computer like right now and like go left, go right, further, sit down, and I don't like this at all. Like really, I like feel people. I like see the whole body, like not adjusting the camera half of the session. And also I gathered my own classes outside, outdoors classes, and I started doing online programs. I'm so happy that I did this. Coronavirus kind of pushed me to try new alleys, and everything but online training I really enjoyed.
Okay. Erica, I don't know if you were able to hear the question, but the question was at this point, how have you been forced to reinvent your business, or have you been forced to reinvent the way you do business in the wake of the repeated openings and closings?
Absolutely. Yes, it has. A lot of our business is online now, and all of our marketing is online. I was the queen of networking, chamber ambassador. I was the one that was at all the chamber events, all the mixers, and I don't do that anymore. So everything that I do now is online, as far as networking, mixing, and my coaching. I'm also able to spend more time helping the girls become more successful, because I myself am not working as an esthetician. I'm not allowed to practice. So I've found a purpose for myself in another way.
Okay. All right. Well, another interesting side effect of all of this, of course, has been that with all of the closures and the reopenings, and in the case of the restaurants, the move to takeout only, certainly there's been a lot of discussion in the media about smaller businesses. Do each of you, or do any of you, feel the effects of the heightened awareness of local businesses? Do you feel that there's a positive effect somewhere in the future when business reopens? Do you think the community will be more supportive of these smaller businesses, or is it in fact the opposite?
I think small business in general, they tend to stand together. So yeah, in the future, like everybody's gonna be, like, they already got a clues of what's going on. So when the community go down, I mean, like, people are just gonna stand together and just try to bring the community back up.
I think people will appreciate more, because right now they don't have that. And when everything is going to be open, they will appreciate what they were deprived of.
All right. Eric, I just see you smiling there. It almost sounds like you don't really have anything for that one. No?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that we're received with more gratitude now. I hope that women aren't loving their roots.
That's an interesting thought. And I don't want everything to be all gloom and doom this evening. So I'm wondering if each of you have any positive experiences or any unexpected benefits that you've encountered during this entire pandemic and crisis.
I think the only unexpected encounter is you get to spend more time with your family. That's about it.
Okay. All right.
But actually this year I didn't have as much work as usual, but I spent more time with myself, especially in the first lockdown. And it was such an interesting time because usually it's hustle and bustle every day. And as a personal trainer, sometimes I wake up at 5 a.m. and I come home at 9 p.m. And I didn't have that. And to be honest, I was kind of relaxed and happy about that. And also I opened online fitness, and I opened for myself another opportunities, and I see that all health and beauty industry are essential actually. Like it affects your confidence, it affects your perception about yourself.
Erica, did you have anything you wanted to add to this? Or it looks like Erica might actually have frozen again. So we're going to move on to the next question. And Eva, I'd like to build on something that you were just discussing. You were talking about the positive effects of such things. And with that in mind, do either of you feel that you really should be classified as more of an essential industry? Because we have heard a great deal about the increase in depression and anxiety that is taking place as a result of the pandemic itself, and obviously the daily exposure we have to the very unsettling news of increased infection rates and deaths. And so often a little does go a long way. So a little exercise or maybe just getting a haircut can do a lot to improve someone's disposition. I'm wondering if you could talk a little about that and how you feel about the idea that maybe you should be considered more of an essential industry.
Well, like for us, compared to, the healthcare department, like we're pretty much similar. So I don't see why we don't consider essential, because we take it with precaution. We take class about, like disease, how to sanitize everything. So in a way, I think we should be considered essential, like compared to the healthcare people.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, Joe, what you said about emotions, because I really think the way we look, it affects our self-image, and the way we see ourselves, the other sees ourselves. And that's why being beautiful, what guys do actually, they make people feel good about themselves. And if I feel good about myself, I bring to the world my happiness and my joy, and it affects my community, it affects my close people, and my close people will bring this joy to their community, and it's contagious. And people don't understand, but I mean, maybe government doesn't understand that everybody matters, maybe in small way, but essential business like health and beauty, that's really essential.
Erica, I see you there. It looks like we have you back for a moment. I was wondering if you might have a few words on this particular.
So I honestly believe that our industry is essential, and especially for people who are going to work that are considered essential. Why are they going to work so unpresentable? It's strange to me how we've just allowed this to happen, and especially as a female, we're expected to look a certain way when we show up to work. When I worked in retail, and jokingly we used to say it's not fair because the men just get to roll out of bed and come straight to work, and we had to be tip-top from head to toe. We were expected to present, the brand that we were selling in a certain way. And so I believe that, taking care of your looks and your hair, it's all essential. And most people honestly don't know how to care for their hair properly. It's true.
I'm gonna say that I have tried once or twice to even give myself just a slight trim during this pandemic, and it's become painfully apparent very quickly why there are professionals to do this type of work. So I do completely understand what you are saying there. Another question for each of you. Certainly the business community is a very tight-knit community. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, there have been a lot of businesses along the way that unfortunately have not been able to hang on through these very difficult times. I was wondering if as business owners, any of you have known other business owners, friends whose businesses have unfortunately succumbed to the pandemic, and if you could speak about the difficulties that entails.
I know a few restaurant owners. Oh, you mean like for my community?
Well, in your community, in your industry, or even just other business owners that you know, that not necessarily personal trainers or people in the care industries, but just in general. I mean, have you seen businesses or know people who have lost their businesses and can talk about the devastation that brings with it?
The other day, I had a conversation with a restaurant owner, and he said when the outside dining was open, it was pretty good and business was great. But with the lockdown, like takeout, it's so bad. It's like 25% of the whole business, and I feel so sorry for like small business owners, like restaurant owners, and even for Erica and Tony. Like, it's so unfair, and I'm your number one client, guys, really. I miss you so much.
Oh yeah, I know a couple of my friends that had their business shut down in my field, because for one, even though we get to open, we only operate at 25% capacity. As earlier as last month, it was 20% capacity. So, it's like when you're in a certain area where, the rent is too high, so that you don't much enough income to cover the rent. So every day, every month, you're losing profit instead of making profit. Right. So it's like people just like completely, that's it, I can't hang on, so I gotta let go. So that's mainly the reason why. Is like, I think a lot of people in my business, they worry about the rent.
Well, this brings me to my next question. Again, recently we heard Governor Newsom indicate that the originally intended 3-week stay-at-home order is likely going to go on into the new year for the foreseeable future. And most businesses are planning that we won't begin to see something closer to business as usual until the middle of 2021. Most medical experts are saying that it won't be until about that time that the vaccines are in wide enough distribution that we will begin to see a real effect. So how much longer can you as business owners hang on if things remain the way they are?
Not too long for me personally, because right now, like I said, my business is hanging on by a thread. And the good thing about my salon is we have a really, really nice landlord. So he helped us a lot throughout this whole pandemic, and he's willing to help us until we can stand on our ground again. So I'm really appreciative of him. But if this go on for, I would say, another 3 or 4 months, then I don't think we could hang on. Without government help, then we can't hang on. But if the government is starting to help again, then we might be able to hang on to our business.
Okay, same question to each of you. I guess we'll just go down the list here. Eva, how about you?
If I had my own gym, it would be impossible to survive at all. But since I don't have a rent issue, I can travel, it's much easier for me. And also, I didn't mention that I've got an offer to be a fitness director for one online company, 24 Workout Life. It's an online company that will cater home fitness. And I think that's kind of future that I can do to apply all my knowledge and passion to bring fitness to people's home. And the price is going to be super cheap. It's going to be 90 cents per month for 4 classes. And that's kind of, it will help. It gives me a lot of hope. It's not launching yet, but it's something that I'm so excited about. But again, if I had my own facility that as a business owner I had to take care of, I don't know. I doubt I would survive.
And Erica, how about you?
Well, actually, our landlord evicted us for being non-essential in March. And so I held on for as long as I thought I could. And after we were shut down the 3rd time, decided that it was time to go. So I found a mixed-use building in Pasadena. So now we're in a mixed-use space. The girls live upstairs and the salon is downstairs. It's really a miracle. If that hadn't happened, I don't know. I don't think that we would have been able to stay together. And that really honestly breaks my heart. Like, yeah.
Tony, you mentioned something just a moment ago in your response. You indicated that if there isn't more assistance forthcoming, that you will not likely be able to hang on into the middle of next year.
Yes.
Are any of you hopeful about the incoming administration? Do you think that there will be a change, a more supportive approach? And are you looking forward to that?
Personally, I think there might be a few, because right now a lot of small business starting to speak up, because they like for instance, Erica, she didn't get any SBA loan or whatever. So I think people gonna take note of that and they're trying to figure it out better this time. But I don't know. I'm just having my finger crossed. So.
Okay. Ava, Erica, either of you want to chime in on that?
I'm hopeful. I am. I feel like we're due, and that maybe all the things that I didn't do correctly when I applied for the loan, I have it straightened out now. So I have an SBA or SBDC administration that's helping me. I'm going to hang on for as long as I can, to be honest with you. I mean, I put the last 10 years of my life into this, so really, why not?
No, I can certainly understand that. And Eva, of course, the same question to you. Do you hope that things are going to improve as the administrations change? Do you believe there is a chance that the small business owner might actually see greater assistance moving forward?
I'm not sure about California because, for example, in Miami, everything is open and everything is open inside the gyms, the salons, restaurants, and California, we kind of a special state. And I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, I'm always hoping for the best. And my attitude is I'm looking for the new ways to do old thing in a new way. That's something. But of course, hope it's the only thing that nobody is going to take from us. And that's what we all do our whole life, hoping for something.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
We're coming up on the closing minutes of the show, and I wanted to ask this final question before we run out of time to each of you. Certainly, your businesses contribute so much to the community and have in the past. and continue to do so when you're allowed to open. Are there things that the community can do to help you now in the short term? And if so, what are those things?
I mean, like, the community, you know, I see they're trying to help, you know, but for us, it's like, you know, I think, you know, personally, everybody have a family to feed. Everybody's in a bad time. So, you know, like, if I can hang on, then, you know, I hang on. But right now, you know, I'm not accepting, you know, like the, you know, like, donation or whatever, because I know it's hard time for everybody, you know, but if I can hang on right now, then I hang on. But, you know, I don't know in the future.
Yeah, community can help me like by buying my services. That's something that right now I still would be so appreciative, especially December. It's a little bit tough month, and I think your health, it's a currency of your life. It's something that the more energy you have, the more health you have, the more things you can accomplish and stay sane in this crazy time. That's why I think to work out and staying active, that's very important for your body and your mind.
Well, one of the things that we have seen in recent times in the media are that there have been local groups that have gone out and actually formed parades or protests asking for local officials to reopen the businesses in the area. Do you feel that that is productive and helpful?
Productive and helpful what?
No.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm not sure that it's productive. I'm not actually sure that it's helpful. I feel like really what we need to be doing is finding a way to pull together and rallying together. And if you want to do something, letter writing helps. But being out when we're supposed to be in, no.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's better
blatantly violating the rules. I do not think that helps. And that's why you don't see the beauty industry out there doing it.
Yeah. We just like, you know, take it as
we follow the
rules. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Erica, in these closing seconds. We have seen recently in the news, there are one or two stores, I think, two shops that we've heard about, one I think located in the Inland Empire, that are openly defying these orders and attempting to keep their businesses afloat. But that's something that you would actively discourage. That's correct?
I would discourage that. I would. Just, I mean, because it's not how I want us to be perceived. I feel like there's a better way of handling things and a better way of going about it with grace.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, like, you know, everybody's on their own, you know, like, so they have their own way of dealing with it. But for us, like, personally, we rather, you know, follow, you know, the protocol, but we can't speak for, you know, like any other else, you know.
All right. Well, I'm afraid we have run out of time. I do want to thank you, Tony and Eva and Erica, for joining us this evening with this discussion. It looks like Charles was not able to join us this evening, but we do thank each of you for joining us this evening, and again, wishing you happy holidays. To our viewers at home, if there are topics you would like to see addressed in our discussions, you can email them to us at arroyolive@pasadenamedia.org, and we may include them in a future broadcast. Until next time, this has been Arroyo Live. I'm Joe Carbonetta. Thank you for watching. Happy and safe holidays to each and every one of you, and good night.